My name is John Wellwood, Managing Director and CEO of 100% Effective Training. We have trained over 1,000 black belts and green belts in more than 14 countries worldwide. A question we constantly get asked is around Lean Six Sigma and Six Sigma certification, so we thought we would share our thoughts on certification with you. Certification is about demonstrating that you've not only learned the tools, techniques and the methodologies associated with Lean Six Sigma and Six Sigma, but also that you've applied them in real life situations running projects. The problem we have with certification is that it's not got a recognised certification body. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world. Certification is a way to prove that you've learnt the tools and methodologies associated with Lean Six Sigma and Six Sigma, and not only that you've applied them in real life situations through the use of projects. The problem we have in Lean Six Sigma and Six Sigma terms is that there is no recognised body to accredit certification. It just doesn't exist anywhere in the world. There are some bodies trying to get everybody to come under one banner. However, they've got a number of problems associated with trying to do this. The first one is that most large companies, the Motorola's and GE's of this world, want to do their certification in their own way. They've set up their training in their own way, so they'd like to certify in their own way, so they're never going to sign up to a recognised body. They also all run their own different types of training course, therefore certification in a standard way would be difficult. The last problem we have with external certification is the cost. The charges are so expensive that to try and put a number of people through it would be excessive, and therefore none of the big companies are ever going to sign up for it. This means that there will never be a recognised Lean Six Sigma or Six Sigma external certification body. Certification, however, is still very important. Without it, we have no way of proving that people have learnt the tools and techniques and have also applied them in a number of situations. Employers still look for certification. As a result, they've got to check how people have been certified in the past. Most smart employers ask three simple questions. Tell us a little bit about your training, what tools and techniques were covered, who did it, etc. Tell us how you were certified to make sure that you've gone through a robust process. And lastly, they then start asking about the projects that you've done to prove that you're actually a really certified green belt or black belt. Certification is therefore very important. However, with no recognised body, we have to apply best practice. The likes of GE, Motorola and ourselves at 100% Effective Training use a standard process for certification. It's very simple. For black belts, you've got to complete all the training associated with the course. You then must pass an end of course exam and achieve at least 80%. You then have to hand in 2 completed projects that have gone all the way through to the control phase of DMAIC. You then attend a 2-hour interview where you're tested not only on your true projects but also on your knowledge associated with DMAIC and the other tools and techniques. For green belts, the process is exactly the same, the only difference being that you only have to do 1 project and typically the interview lasts around an hour. The other question we get asked is what kind of projects can I use for certification? And it's fairly straightforward. You can either use projects that you've done in the past and adapt them so they look in a DMAIC format, and you can then use tools and techniques that you've been taught, or you can work on a project until you've completed it and then use that to get certified. The projects, however, must demonstrate the DMAIC approach, or each one of the elements. They must also demonstrate the tools and techniques that you've been taught during your training. Effectively, the projects just provide a talking point for the interview so that we can check whether you've got the understanding, knowledge and you've got it in your head about DMAIC, the tools and techniques. The projects can be anything really. It can be things like improving quality, it could be increasing productivity in a call centre, it could be reducing costs. In fact, the project can be anything at all as long as you can demonstrate that you've used the DMAIC approach and the tools and techniques so that we can ask you and quiz you about it. Other questions we get asked is what happens if we fail the interview? Well, this very rarely happens, in fact, because we don't let people go for the interview until we feel that they're ready. If, however, in the unlikely event that you got through the interview and we felt there was an area that you still weren't up to scratch in, we would simply give you some case studies so that you go away and work on them so that you can prove your knowledge. If you did fail that again, then again we'd give you more case studies until you understood it. So the typical problems we have with certification in the Lean Six Sigma and Six Sigma world are that there are lots of companies out there, when you attend their training program, they'll say that you're certified. Unfortunately, best practices, that proves that it's not the case. You have to have done the things that we mentioned earlier, the key one being that you have to have applied it into projects. The other problem is that lots of the companies employing black belts and green belts don't know the difference between training and certification, so you might have to educate them when you go for interview. The last area where we have a problem regarding certification is that lots of people have never had a chance to certify. They've done the training, but they've never run it through a project. If that's the case, there's no problem, because we can help you with that area as well. We'll either give you a project to do, or we'll look at past projects that you've done and see if they can be used and changed or adapted to show the DMAIC approach. We can help you, therefore, with all levels of certification. We certify people as master black belts, green belts, and even yellow belts if you want, with prices starting at just £550. We use the best practice certification techniques as done by GE and Motorola, and it's by no means an easy option coming to 100% effective training for your certification, as we make sure that you've gone through and used and adapted all the tools properly. If you want to talk to us about anything regarding certification, then please give us a ring on 0845 07 02 987 and we can chat through any of your particular problems. I hope this introduction to certification has helped you. If you've got any problems, please get in touch. Thanks very much.